All righty. All right. So, welcome to the 20th episode of the Revolutionary Code, where we bring the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, Black people here in America. I'm your host, Brother Tamani Mwandani out of Houston, Texas. I am the direct revolutionary product of one Cardinal and Bayou Chewy out of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, and the indirect revolutionary product of one Albert B. Clegg, African name Jeramogi Baby Ajiman, the founder of Liberation Theology and the father of Liberation Theology and the founder of the Shrines of the Black Madonna. I am also the founder of the Black Gold Nation Movement. My co-host, the National Director of Political Strategy and Implementation for the Black Gold Nation Movement, and the chairman of LACE, Liberation Advocates for Community Empowerment, the intellectual gangster, corporate grassroots revolutionary, and master domino assassin from Shreveport, Louisiana, aka The Boot, Brother Craig B. Lee. How you doing this evening, Brother Craig?
I am doing iRed, as
All right.
doing absolutely great.
Excellent, excellent. Before we get started this evening, let me let you guys know a little bit about the Black Gold Nation movement. Our ultimate goal is to put ourselves in a position by which we can own and control the environment where we live, because it has been proven time and time again that when we allow other people to control the environment where we live, we lose. When we allow other people to control any system within that environment, we always find ourselves on the bottom of that system, be it the educational system, the economic system, the spiritual system, the agricultural system, the business system, any system that other people control, we always find ourselves on the bottom. So since we don't want to always be on the bottom, and since we don't want to always be losing, we are trying to identify, organize, connect, and build. We want to identify Black people who want to do something. We want to connect with those Black persons who say they want to do something. We want to mobilize and organize, and then we want to build something that matters. So we're not just here, Brother Craig and I, we're not just here just to inform and educate you. We are here to inform, educate, motivate, mobilize, organize, and build. Everything we say and every single thing we do in this movement is about bringing our people together so we can find the right people, so we can make some things happen that have never happened before. Period. We believe that we have enemies. We believe that we have organized entities against us. And we believe the only way we're going to win is to understand how they operate so that we can move in a fashion that's going to move the Black forward, the Black mind, body, spirit, and psyche. So tonight's show title is Grassroots Organization, Control, and Power, Why We've Never Had It, and What Must Be Done to Get It. Before we jump into this thing, I want to ask everybody, as a reminder, please keep your phones muted, because background noise can be very difficult to speak over and very difficult for everyone to hear. So with that, we're going to jump right into this topic tonight. Again, grassroots organization, control, and power, why we've never had it and what must be done to get it. Okay, so Brother Craig, from the NAACP to Marcus Garvey to the civil rights and Black power movements, we've never had grassroots organization and control. Let's start with first defining grassroots. What do you mean by grassroots?
Grassroots are those individuals who are not a part of the mainstream, those individuals who are not a part of the bourgeoisie, those individuals who are your working class, working poor, homeless, those individuals on the bottom. And those individuals who, like some of us on this call, who are from that environment, but we've gone off to get some education, some experience, some expertise, and we have some enlightenment, and we have some love for our people because we have unlocked, unleashed, and activated our third eye and our spiritual powers. So we are able to interface still with the environment that we grew up in, but also interface with the private and public sectors in order to bring resources back. So those of us like that are hybrid grassroots, but the grassroots are the bottom of the barrel in this capitalistic system, not from a value standpoint, but just based on how capitalism is structured.
Excellent, excellent. And you said the word bourgeoisie. What do you mean by bourgeoisie?
Well, within capitalism, there is a caste system and a class system. Caste meaning structured around color, and also class meaning those individuals at the bottom being grassroots, those individuals being in the middle, the aristocracy, aka bourgeoisie, those entities who are maneuvering within the private and public sector, and they are the gatekeepers for the upper tier, the upper crest, the rich, the wealthy. So the bourgeoisie are the flunkies, if you would, for the power brokers, the oppressors within the system. They adopt their ways, they form their opinions, and they seek to form a part of their clan, so to speak.
Got it. Okay. Now, some people would say that places like Rosewood and Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, would be examples of grassroots organization, control, and power. You disagree?
Yeah, because the individuals, though they were melanated, they fell into the category of the bourgeoisie. Grassroots people have never been in power anywhere in the world, including in Africa, and that's why the majority of people who, regardless of where they're at in the world, regardless of their ethnicity, but although we're speaking for ourselves, they do not see the seriousness. The majority of them see the seriousness of leadership, the seriousness of building infrastructure in order to make their environment function better. So they're just kind of like happy-go-lucky, moving within the society. So those individuals who become the thinkers, they are not grassroots people for the most part. And so those individuals who erected Rosewood, the community that they call Black Wall Street, Greenwood, and Tulsa, Oklahoma, these are very highly skilled individuals, entrepreneurs, millionaires, even at that time in the early 1900s. And at the end of the day, they interface with each other, but there's always been a hierarchical deal. And those individuals who are in that upper tier, upper crest, they identify more with white folks than they do the individuals who don't have the finances, the money, the status, and the materialism.
Okay, cool. All right. So speaking of Rosewood, Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, during Reconstruction, following the Civil War, and the over 200 times that our people have used our separation as a basis to build power, would you also exclude the development of those towns, those small cities? Would you exclude those as well when it comes to grassroots organization, control, and power?
I wouldn't, in terms of them, again, representing the interests of grassroots people, yes. But in terms of melanated African descendants making some things happen, no. But when you understand what I'm saying in terms of the hierarchical structure, all of those things still existed in Rosewood, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in any of these places, because it's just a structural deal. The majority of people in this world just get up and go to work or do whatever every day.
Right.
Period. Those are just grassroots people. They aspire to be in the higher echelon of society, but they don't know how, and they're not connected. And so that's why they're used as pawns in the game, regardless of what ethnic group we're talking about.
Right.
So when we're looking at those 200 Black townships, there's a certain skill set that went into that process of building those towns. And that's not to say that grassroots people were not responsible for helping to build the towns, but in terms of the leadership of making those things happen, they were not a part of that process. That's been the constant fight that we've actually had, and that's why when Marcus Garvey came to the United States in 1916, I think,
yeah,
his whole focus. And let me put it like this: if you go back to the debate, and this will really put it in perspective. If you go back to the debates between Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois, it'll give you the perspective of what I'm talking about. Although both of those individuals were a part of the bourgeoisie, the Negro bourgeoisie, Booker T. Washington advocated on the interests of grassroots people because he was focused on vocational education, those skill sets that our people had picked up during slavery. W.E.B. Du Bois was focused on liberal arts education, doctors, lawyers, chemists, those particular things. And they constantly clashed because W.E.B. Du Bois was focused on what he called the talented 10, which is what laid the foundation for what we call the Boule, which is the first Greek letter Negro organization in this country, Sigma Pi Phi. And so that is, I guess, the clearest example that I can give you. And although Booker T. Washington was not a grassroots person, he advocated for the grassroots. And Tuskegee Institute was formulated around farming, agriculture, brick masonry, those particular things. And the sad part is you need both.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a one-dimensional thing. You need lawyers, you need doctors,
That's
but
right.
hell, you gotta have somebody to build a goddamn house as well. Somebody to do their damn hair. I mean, so it's some of the stuff that we get caught up in, and that's what Dr. Carter G. Woodson referenced in his book, and Miseducation of the Negro. And that's what he talked about, because we get caught up in believing that we're intelligent and educated because we're talking about the Greek, the Latin, the hell with Swahili, because that's not a part of the mix. You don't see how you're going to make money in that.
Right.
So you learn Spanish, you learn English, you learn French, but you're not going to want to learn Swahili. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about grassroots. So Booker T. and Du Bois, they pretty much capture the essence of what you're talking about right now, the difference between bourgeoisie and grassroots.
Gotcha. Okay, so the show is titled The Revolutionary Code. Our subtext is bringing the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence, how that affects our people, Black people here in America. Now, quote, bringing the truth and how governmental politics actually work, end quote. Now, this is where we, people in general, but Black people specifically, not just here in America, but around the world, this is where we start falling apart. And this is where we get completely lost because we don't have a clue as to how governmental politics actually works, correct?
Sure.
Cool. So we do the show, obviously, every Thursday. And we have a movie review every other Saturday called Cinematic Connections for Revolutionary Change. And we do what we do because we're trying to get our people to understand how this whole thing works so we can stop falling for the okie doke and stop making mistakes, stop losing. This is our 20th episode of this show, and we're going into our 16th episode of the movie review. And this week's movie review is called Plutocracy. It is a documentary that is on YouTube. I suggest everybody go see it. I'll put the link in the chat. And this is what it's really all about. We're doing part one this coming Saturday, and as briefly as you can, Brother Craig, give us a good fundamental definition of what plutocracy is.
Plutocracy. I'll be coming back. I'm trying to find my video.
Okay,
cool. But plutocracy is the upper echelon of how capitalism is structured. So it is these are the architects and the engineers of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy. They are at the apex of the game. And underneath them are the second tier, which are the oligarchs. And these people are rich and whatnot, but they're not shot callers in the game. And you have the aristocracy. So the plutocrats, the plutocracy, these people who design the philosophy, structure the philosophy, design the game, structure the game, these are the individuals when we're talking about plutocracy and you hear the term plutocrats, those are those particular individuals.
Right. Okay. So what and what don't people, not just Black people in general, what don't we understand about America and plutocracy on a fundamental level? What don't we understand about those two?
That this is a team sport, team game, and let me tell you.
Come on.
Several years, well, I say a few years. A few people tried to get me to watch this. I think it's HBO drama series called Game of Thrones.
That's right.
And I didn't watch. I'm thinking it's some goddamn video game question, right? And people was like, Craig, I want to hear your perspective on Game of Thrones. And I'm like, ain't that the damn video game? So, Tamani, last year,
yes, sir,
I finally watched one episode of season 1.
Yeah.
And I said, God damn, man, I gotta watch it every damn, because the Game of Thrones it capsulizes the plutocrats, the oligarchs, and the aristocracy and the grassroots.
That's right.
From the white perspective, and they're putting it right there in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I watched it, because I'm watching it from politics,
right?
Economics. So I'm like, so why the hell do all these Negroes like the show? Because,
yeah.
But there's a goddamn thing in it that they really can relate to. But if you are understanding the aspects of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalist and white supremacy, the Game of Thrones puts it all right in your face.
Right.
So now when we pivot and we look at the documentary that we're going to go over this weekend, Plutocracy, it puts it right there in living color. And so within that construct, the people will never be able to figure it out. The fact that these individuals spend a great deal of time studying various aspects of human control, psychology, sociology, and so they work to enlighten themselves, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So within that, and they keep it within the confines of a secret society. And when they maneuver as a group. And because the majority of people, regardless of ethnicity, are never going to spend time researching and studying and analyzing information, they're always going to be oppressed and enslaved, even by their own people. And that's why I say, even if you go back to Africa, grassroots people were never in shot calling positions in Africa.
Right.
There was a time where the strongest person led a tribe, but at a particular point, those who were more intelligent or should I say, spent more time thinking, analyzing, and plotting, they were able to pit strength against strength and maneuver. And that's why the game is the way that it is. So the majority of people don't know that when you don't play chess, when you don't play dominoes, there's no way you'll figure this game out because it is replicated based on those two games, and in more particular, the chess game, because each piece is how they use people in the game in order to facilitate and maneuver them around the chessboard. But most people believe in, if I just work hard, I'll be able to, maneuver.
That's right.
And they don't have a clue. And it's so sad. I mean, they just don't get it. Whether it be jobs in the public sector or the private sector, or contracts in the public sector or the private sector. Doesn't mean that you don't have to work, doesn't mean that you don't have to gain access to some degree of education and expertise. But what it does mean is who you know and who you're connected to makes a big impact on how this thing plays out.
Yeah, those relationships most certainly matter. And unfortunately for us, we don't see the power in relating to our own people. So we seek relationships with other people and other people's thing, which is an issue. But for those of you guys who are watching with us on Zoom, I've placed the link to Plutocracy. Again, it's on YouTube in the chat. I strongly encourage and urge you to watch that, as well as making this Saturday's movie review, so we can break this thing down and really get into it. Okay, Brother Craig, I'm glad you mentioned the philosophy, system, and game, because that's where I'm going with the next question. We talk about that a lot, of course, the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy and racism. During episode 18, we talked about, Naeem, we're doing part 1 this coming Saturday, and then we'll follow up with 2, 3, and 4 moving forward every other Saturday. So in episode 18, Brother Craig, we talked about the total and complete gangster mentality of those that run this plutocratic system in America. Help us understand the philosophy and the system of the architects of plutocracy. How do they think, and how is that differently than how we and people in general think?
Great question. For everybody who's on the call, while I'm giving this answer, I want you to Google something that you've never heard before. And the term is divine right of king. Divine right of king. That is the governing philosophy of the architects, engineers who've created this thing. And what the divine rights of king, which comes out of the monarch structure, says is the goddamn king is not subject to any earthly rule. He don't have to be accountable or responsible to anyone but God. Mm. Now guess who is God?
He is.
So you can look that up. So that's the first philosophy that regulates. So when the white folks left Europe and came here, there was another philosophy that was rooted underneath that philosophy that is connected to the preservation and supremacy of their kind. And that is called manifest destiny. I want you to Google that. Manifest destiny. And the white folks said very clearly in their philosophy that everything in this world, and initially they were talking about America, but their whole premise is everything, it is their destiny to control and dominate every single thing in this world, period. And so when you understand those two philosophies that go in with the philosophy of white supremacy, meaning that they will be upheld in their views, their thoughts on everything, how to eat food, how to go to the bathroom, how to goddamn brush your teeth, how to comb your hair. Their thoughts are supposed to be everybody else's thoughts. And they're not subject to any oversight, only but for God. That's why if our people don't learn the difference between God and the Creator, they will never figure this out, because you are God. And that's why your scripture, for those of you who are Christians, you go to Psalms 82, verse 6, your own scripture tells you right there, I have said that you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But if you don't know that, you really are going to be believing that they're talking about the Creator, the entity who created the sun, the moon, the stars, the wind. No. That's not God. God is the white man. And therefore, they say within their philosophy, they can lie to you, they can cheat you, they can murder you, and then they can apologize and do the goddamn same thing over. And you be up there talking about, oh, it shouldn't be that way. Well, the way it should be is we got to change this. If you're not willing to do the same thing that they did to acquire the power, shut the hell up. And what they were willing to do is rape, murder, kill, destroy, brutalize. So all you can do in the system is to gain equity. So they're willing to do anything to push their agenda through the divine rights of kings, manifest destiny, white supremacy, race.
Right. And the philosophy, of course, the way they think, the philosophy is the principal driver behind the American system, the behavior that most of us, like you just said, we think is fair and equitable. We think this thing, anybody can come to America and make it. We believe that. Help us understand how this game, some of the things they do in this game to keep us thinking that it's fair and it's equitable. And like you said earlier, all you got to do is work hard. What do they do to continue to get us to plug into this game? How do they play with our minds?
The next thing, here's another homework assignment. Look up the concept of the exceptional, there are books written on it.
All right, you're muted. There you go.
I'm
sorry, but I damn sure tried to get my computer ready. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. So look up the book, The Exceptional Negro, or Negro Exceptionalism. So Tamani asks, how do they go about doing this smoke and mirrors game, especially without crazy? And the easiest thing to do is to give you a physical example that is achievable, that is doable. Okay? Because once I create the illusion that you can achieve it by allowing one of you to come through the gates, and they used to just, do it with a couple of people, Frederick Douglass, they'll do it with a few people, Thurgood Marshall.
Yep.
And now it's like, oh, we can do it. No, you can't, because the game is not designed for that. And so it was Martin Luther King who gave them the real blueprint. It was Martin Luther King, because, the things that were going on that were positive during segregation for us in our Black townships, Black businesses Black schools. All we needed was resources, equity, but they made the push for integration. So now what ends up happening over the past 5 decades is the white folks figured it out real good. We're gonna now, instead of just letting 1 or 2, we're gonna allow a percentage, maybe a percent or less than a percent, begin to now get into key positions. We're gonna control them. So now where does that go back to? What movie did we just review, Brother Tamani, did that? The Negro exceptionalism goes back. Trick Bay. The scene in Trick Bay.
Yeah, I was about to say Trick Baby. Okay, my phone was muted.
Okay, the scene in Trick Baby where they're having the dinner scene. So now, somebody find that so they can have a reference point, because we showed it last week, but want to show it again so they'll understand exactly what I'm saying, because it was put in that movie. And what they're talking about is the Negro exceptionalism, because it's not exceptionalism, it's pseudo-exceptionalism, because they're creating the illusion of inclusion by allowing one individual or a few individuals, Oprah Winfrey, a few others, to elevate, and therefore you now get everybody, the majority of people, to buy in. So over the past few decades, they've allowed more of the individuals to come through, and the primary way that they do this is their number one tool is through the entertainment arena. But entertainment, which means to distract away from things that are paramount going on in your life, they break entertainment down into so many different categories that they're going to impact you one way or another in your life, because they have movie entertainment, television entertainment, sports entertainment, religious entertainment, literary entertainment, culinary entertainment. I mean, any type of beauty entertainment, fashion entertainment, okay? Anything that exists, they use entertainment to maneuver. Here's the thing.
You liberals who have lifted the power.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard, you liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. If we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
It's you liberals who...
Y'all get that? I want to just pause and just ask, do you all get that? In any response?
Yeah.
Participants, or do y'all get that? What you all just saw? Naru?
Yes.
Brother Lord?
Yes.
That's what this is about.
Sir.
So that scene lays it out right there. So that's how they do it, through the concept of Negro exceptionalism and entertainment. Those are the primary vehicles.
All right. If you missed the beginning of the show or doing the intro, you are listening to the Revolutionary Code, where we bring the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, melanated Black people here in America. Tonight's show is our 20th episode and is titled Grassroots Organization Control and Power, Why We've Never Had It and What Must Be Done to Get It. My name is Tamani Mwandani, the founder of the Black Gold Nation movement. And my co-host is Brother Craig B. Lee. He is our National Director of Political Strategy and Implementation. Okay, Brother Craig, next question. To the believers in this philosophy, the controllers of this system and the creators of this game, give us a few concrete examples of their willingness to maintain, and keep power by any means necessary.
I mean, I'm gonna give you the example that best fits where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And this is why history is so important. Right now, the world, grassroots people in particular, but even the aristocrats, the so-called middle class and upper middle class, they're all being manipulated around the super virus called coronavirus. And the whole focus is to push people to take a vaccine. So if you really want to know about the diabolical nature and you study history, the most profound thing you can go to is the Tuskegee experiment that went from 1930 something to 1970 something. And they were supposed to be doing what? Providing vaccines for something that perceptively ailed our people in Alabama. But what were they really doing? They were giving them syphilis.
Syphilis, right. And then studying them to see how it would affect their body. Yeah. And amazingly, that wasn't the first time.
Yeah, not the first time. So now we go back to the first time that they did it with our so-called native indigenous brothers. They look how diabolical they are. They wait till the winter. They kill.
That's right.
They kill the goddamn buffalo. So you say, well, why did they kill the buffalo? Because the goddamn buffalo skin would be used in the winter as covering for the natives.
That's right.
So what was the point of that? Because now we're gonna, because we nice, we're gonna go give them some blankets,
right,
and some quilts, because we're nice.
Because we know it's cold out here.
And some kind of way, y'all buffalo just goddamn died.
All of a sudden,
they just died. And you go to them, and it's like you have a ceremony for all the goddamn buffalo, and you say, "Dang, man, but we got some quilts, we got some blankets." And so now, Chief Big Horse and Chief Run and Chief Red Rum, and said, "Thank you, white man. You are a good friend. Thank you. Thank you." And so about 2 goddamn weeks later, Chief Big Horn and Rum, they start coughing. They got fevers and shit. And now it's like they start dying. Goddamn whole tribe start dying. And the white man come back, "What's wrong? We sick, Mr. White Man. Can you help us? What's wrong?" And they said, "Damn, we got it, smallpox in the damn blankets."
That's right.
"We forgot to sterilize. I'm sorry. We sorry. Will you forgive us? Oh, but by the way, can we take y'all damn land?"
While we at it.
They about that life.
Yeah.
So you can go example after example. They are about that life.
Yeah. And as we saw in the movies American Made and Kill the Messenger, they do not care about your skin color. If you are not a part of their clique, and if you're trying to disrupt the mechanism that they use to maintain and keep power, if you are seen as a threat, then they're gonna come after you. Yeah.
And John Kennedy.
Yeah. Amen.
Do now.
Yes, sir. Okay. So the NAACP, the Divine Nine, which is our Greek organizations, Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Nation of Islam, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, so Michael, Fannie Lou Hamer, the Black Panther, the Black Panthers, Shrines of the Black Madonna, and any other Black person or organization that's come and gone since we've been here. What concrete proof do we have that none of them fully understood this philosophy, this system, and this game?
Because we spend less than 3% of our money with ourselves, and we're in a worse position now than we were in 1950. We're in a worse position now. You got all these Negro elected officials, and we still broke.
Yeah.
You got all these Negro elected officials, and you still have major poverty throughout the country.
That's right.
You got all these Negro organizations, and they don't do any cooperative endeavor agreements to now increase the cooperative economic in our disposable income. I mean, it's pretty clear. But what they did learn, not the grassroots group, because the grassroots group, like the Shrine of Black Madonna, Fannie Lou Hamer's group, of course, the Black Panther Party for self-defense.
That's right.
They, earnest, were fighting the good fight. But, as they elevated, they didn't know that there are levels to this goddamn game.
That's right.
And they just weren't prepared for that. For those other entities like Vernon Jordan, the Urban League, some of your more bourgeoisie organizations, especially the NAACP, they learned the game. It's all about marginalism. It's all about rhetoric. So we're going to talk, and then we're going to get a check, and we're going to keep on talking. Because we always know we got the scapegoat. And the scapegoat is, man, it's racism, white supremacy. But they're getting the check from the racist white supremacists, and it's called political theater. I mean, for real. That's how they do it. They will literally create the illusion of friction. And let's say an individual wants to do something, some kind of public policy initiative that would help their people, and the white folks know that they're not going to do it. And so the Negro is rolling with them, but in order to save face, the Negro says, look, I got to go out. I got to beat up on you a little bit and call you, cracker, racist, whatever. But I'm with y'all. And but y'all got my vote, but it's gonna pass anyway. Let's say if it's 7 votes, it's gonna pass anyway. So now we're gonna allow that to pass if it's 3 Negroes and 4 whites. Let's say it'll pass 4-3. But we're with you though. And this is how the game is played. So unless you are behind the scenes so that you can see how this stuff is negotiated and planned and plotted, you would never believe that this happened.
Right.
But I can assure you, being behind the scenes for the past 25 years,
it's quite evident. All right, now you and I have talked about, and I think we even, I'm not sure, I don't think we've had a show about it, but we probably should. Malcolm X's speech, The Ballad or the Bullet. Malcolm talks about the importance of owning and controlling your local economics and your local politics. But we have yet to do that. Why do you think we didn't listen to Brother Malcolm at that time, who was giving us a semblance of the blueprint?
I mean, because Negroes were in chattel slavery from 1555 to 1865, 15 generations. And I mean, let's put this in perspective. We were in chattel slavery for 15 generations. A generation is 20 years. We were partially released February the 1st, 1865. From 1865 to 1964, the passage of the Civil Rights legislation, that's 99 years. So that's only a little bit, it's a little bit under 4 generations. So right at 5 generations. So do the comparative analysis. You got 15 generations of hardcore programming stripping you of your culture, blocking your spiritual power, reprogramming you with religiosity from a Eurocentric perspective, and reprogramming you with subculture that went on for 300 plus years.
Yeah.
And so now you're talking about 5 generations, and Negroes couldn't see the beauty, some of the beauty, in segregation.
Right. Right.
I had a debate several years ago on Facebook, and I knew it was a radical thing that I was going to say because I knew people would not grasp the concept. But I told them that in all actuality, Black Wall Streets throughout this country during segregation, I said they never existed. And so the people were like, what the hell you talk about? Rosewood, Greenwood, nigga, you crazy. And I say, you're not comprehending what I'm saying. They really never existed. Man, what you saying? Okay, here's what I'm saying to you. Though they physically existed, it was forced unity. It was not organic. It was forced unity. It was not organic. So our unity had never been tested. Right now, over the past 50, really 1974 is really when they got the whole integration thing, pseudo-integration thing, totally structured. So you're talking about 46 years. So over the past 46, right at 50 years, this is the litmus test of our unity. So let's analyze what has happened. Before the Civil Rights legislation of 1964, Black cooperative economics, because of segregation, was easily 50+%. Right. Meaning out of $1, over 50% of those dollars went to people like Lloyd Ford, myself, other entrepreneurs. That's what happened during segregation. But it wasn't because we really wanted to do that shit. We were forced because there wasn't nowhere else for your ass to go. You wasn't gonna go to no Walmart in 1950, so you had to go to a Black store to buy your hair care products. You couldn't go get your damn haircut at Supercuts. You had to go to Mr. Charlie's barbershop. You had to go to Mr. Tucker's restaurant to get your hamburger. You couldn't go to McDonald's. Okay? So the money circulated. But it wasn't because we really wanted to do business with Mr. Tucker, Mr. Ford. You say, no, Craig, we love each other. You're a goddamn lie. And the reason that we know you're lying is because once pseudo-integration hit, the Negro stopped going to Mr. Tucker and started going to Woodward. And that's where we've been since then. Yep. So out of $1.5 trillion per year, and I told you last week, we got like quadruple gold medals in the Olympics for spending. We're the greatest spenders in the world, but we don't spend what I say. So we've gone from a position of over 50% cooperative economics to less than 3%. And we're the only people in the world that do that. Why? Because we lack right culture and we lack spirituality. And that's where we're at. So that is the empirical evidence. That is the empirical evidence based on our behavior and the constant foolishness of asking your oppressor to do what you can do for yourself. You're asking them perpetually, so they know that you're nothing but a child of innocence in this game.
And this isn't a question that I had already written down, but as you were talking, I was thinking about that video you sent me, the Black Lives Matter Yvette Cornell video, talking about all the, I think they raised over like $10 billion.
$10 billion, $10.6 billion this year have gone to those Negro pseudo organizations, and the white folks thinking like the mug.
Yeah. So help us understand how we're constantly used to move other people forward. It's like the Black Lives Matter movement. it don't seem to be about Black life. It seems to be about something else. So help us understand how they were used, and what I was shocked to learn, what they're doing with the money.
Exactly. Well, that's why I had to define the 6 factions of African descent.
That's right.
See, because the number one way that we're played, African descendants don't know that just because you're melanated don't mean your ass is Black.
That's right.
And you got Negroes that will still try to debate me after I break down this very basic concept. And I have empirical evidence to show you. If you define Blackness by your phenotype, your skin pigmentation, well, goddamn, Clarence Thomas is super Black.
That's right.
But we know Clarence Thomas is not Black because everything that he does is against Black people. So he is a melanated bourgeoisie Negro. Bourgeoisie because he is a goddamn Supreme Court justice.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, he works against the interests of African descendants who are Black, who are grassroots. So at the end of the day, we can't even get beyond that. Right. Understand? So now, this group of individuals who are advocates for the LGBTQRXZ, XYZ, alphabet people, they now use a great, and from a marketing standpoint, I'm going to tell you, it's a great positioning statement. Black Lives Matter. And it gets to the core of the Negro. I matter. Yeah, Negro, you matter. But that's not what they're really saying. They're using it as a marketing concept so that their white benefactors can now get you all rolling and putting in dollars along with other white folks. And so it's because the money, we can't get beyond the exoteric perspective of melanin being called Black, and then they don't understand the rules of engagement. And thirdly, the Negro just really love white folks.
Right.
And will give them the benefit of a doubt, regardless of any damn thing. And if you just start to look at the TV commercials right now, they are pushing the Negro female with the cracker male strong everywhere. And then we're so blind to it. You see Serena Williams get with the white boy. You see Venus Williams get with the white boy. You see O.J. Simpson get with the white girl. You see this Negro get. So they play us against each other because we hate ourselves. Oh, you can't help who you love. You're goddamn lie. Because I know for sure lions love themselves and they ain't never gonna go try to flip and be cool with a gazelle. But animals got more sense than we do.
Yeah. And listening to that video that you sent, I was amazed, brother, to learn that they have used the pain and suffering of Black people to raise money on behalf of Black people, only to have a non-Black entity control the money, and now they're giving it to non-Black entities.
Exactly.
Man, if that ain't gangsta, I don't know what it is.
And that's why I made the statement in our meeting last week about dude. You see, so you got $10 billion that have been raised. Just imagine if $1 million of that went to a legitimate entity like Lloyd Ford.
Yes, sir.
Or the BTN.
Yep.
Or Creole Soul Louisiana Meat Pie. But in order to get that money, you got to sell out. You got to be a part of the clique. Yeah. And so this is why we have to depend on ourselves and handle our business with our nickels, dimes, dollars, and pennies.
That's right. That's right.
Because these people here are playing straight game on us.
Yeah, and we keep falling for it. Okay. All right. So now for brothers and sisters today in 2020, you can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So brothers and sisters today in 2020, we're talking about right now, current reality, who think that we're going to black business, black invest, land purchase, community bill, sovereign status / freedom papers, African history and who built the pyramids, Native Americans, we are the Indians, we're already here, reparations, and or pray our way out of all of this. For those black people who think those things are going to get us out of this mess, what do you say to them?
All I can do is shake my head. I mean, at this stage in the ball game, I really can't say anything because being cultural social engineer and cultural social entrepreneur and doing this work in Shreveport for 25 years and being on this path of enlightenment for 35 plus years to do these case analysis and to really see how naive and idealistic I can't say. I can't say.
Yeah.
All I can do is just do the work, man. All I can do is unite with brothers and sisters like yourself, Naru, Lord, our other members with BGN, and just do the work because it becomes tiring.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get these people to deal with the totality of this beast and really understanding how diabolical, gangster, and corrupt they are, and to believe that you're going to make some kind of legal argument to have them give you trillions of dollars when you got to go to their goddamn court that they stock with their. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, and again, the documentary Plutocracy. Within the first 30, 35, 40 seconds, they lay it out. The corporation runs everything, the entire system. So there is no going to their court system to get them to give you what they own and control. Power doesn't work that way. All right, so last question. As always, we never want to be like other people. And then we give our people information, scare the hell out of our people and say, good luck with that information. We want to, give them concrete answers and solutions. So the last part of tonight's title is, and what must be done to get it? And that it is grassroots organization, control, and power. So in closing, bringing it all home, what do we need to do to mobilize and organize the grassroots so we can get that power, which is what it's all about?
Yeah, you have to, first and foremost, you have to be visible in doing programs and projects that have substance. One of the easiest ways to attract other individuals who may be like-minded but don't know what to do. We've been doing a program for 24 years, every Tuesday, the Tuesday morning breakfast group. And now we're going Facebook Live. Brother Lloyd came up a few weeks ago. And when he came up, I partnershiped him with a few other business owners in his industry of hair care in Shreveport. They're now networking. And the good news for Brother Lloyd tonight, Brother Greg Andrews of New Grow Hair Grow I have that contact for him. He's our only Black hair care manufacturer in North Central Louisiana. He's ready to talk to Brother Lloyd. So we're able to do the vetting, if you will. We'll continue our series this coming Tuesday with another phenomenal hair care professional, Brother Sean Bossman, here in Shreveport. And we're really going to target this multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. So you got to do programs and projects that have substance that can now attract grassroots people who just don't know. And now you start to pool them together, but you got to be consistent. On January the 18th, we're going to unveil my second community revitalization project, which is a residential property that I purchased last year. We're almost finished with it. And so the mayor, the city council, y'all know how to manipulate all of these people for the good of grassroots people because I'm in the political game. But all your dignitaries are going to come out. And the Lord has already seen the property. I made a subtle post the other day about it, and people went crazy. They ain't even seen the goddamn house. But they love the fact that I featured 4 brothers who all are Black contractors doing work on the house. And I can assure you, Tamani, in June, July of next year, Shreveport, Louisiana, you're going to hear about a program that we're going to do. And it's never been done before in the United States, dealing with housing. And you're going to hear about it throughout the country. And your partner on this call is spearheading that effort, but it's right around the corner from me and my former business partner's first project, which was a commercial structure, an Afrocentric architectural structure called the Dr. Howard Sims Dental Facility. So you got to do work that people can point to, and from those particular things, people can start to now see that you're not just talking, but you're in the business of walking and proving the things that you say. I don't care how much hateration you get. I don't care how many naysayers. You have to be focused on helping to empower our people by any means necessary, legally. You know, don't get caught up in doing no illegal shit. I can't bond your ass out of jail. But you come up with those particular things, remain vigilant, be persistent and determined, and as I always say, connect with the Black Gold Nation in Houston, holler at me in the inbox, and then we begin the process of maneuvering. The program that we're launching is going to be called the More Power in One. One home, one block, one street, one neighborhood, one city, one parish. And once we do this one project, which is going to make us, this one house in June is going to make us about $1 million, a little bit over $1 million. We're then going to receive our designation, our nonprofit, as a CHODO, Community Housing Development Organization, and a CDC, Community Development Corporation. And we're going to then get the public sector money. And I want people to understand this. Now that Biden is in the office, they're about to start to put money out on the streets. But you're not going to get the goddamn money as an individual. You got to structure yourself as a corporation, nonprofit, for-profit. So we're in position with this one project where we now leverage about $1 million from the private sector. We're now going to flip that into about $20 to $30 million to revitalize this one community, Black community in Shreveport that is just phenomenal. And you create those wins. You get those wins. And now people start to see this is doable. And when they can see that, then we can start to get some traction. And we take one city, one parish, one county at a time. We create that prototype, and now everything starts falling like dominoes. So it's doable, but that has to be the blueprint game. You're muted, brother. You're muted.
Okay, cool. All right, so that was the last question. Before we get closing comments, I want to make sure that no one has any questions for you. So those who are with us on Zoom, does anybody have a question for Brother Craig before we close this thing out? Anybody at all?
Come on, bro. If I'm here, you already know I'm gonna have a question every time. You just might as well say, Naru, you ready?
All right, amen, amen. All right, brother, it's on you. Go ahead.
My brother Craig. So, brother Craig, you brought up the vaccines and the smallpox thing a little earlier, and you equated that to something that they were running right now. I just want to know, what do you think they're trying to push with this vaccine? Do you think they're trying to do a eugenics thing and wipe us out? You think it's a monetary thing where the pharmaceutical companies are just going to be profiting off of this? Or do you think it's a combination of that or something different?
Combination of what you just said, and also a monetary reset. As you know, we were on the call with our good partner Harlan this past weekend, and Harlan laid it out real succinctly. There's a monetary reset, a global economic reset going on, and they figured out the most clever way of shutting it down by scaring people with their own individual lives. See, and this is very clever because they don't want to do the war thing anymore between the big countries. They only want to use the war machine, the bombs and the planes, on small people. The G8, these big nations, China, United States, all of them part of it, they've decided that they're going to collaborate to now create the virus. And if your immune system can't hold up to it, you're just going to be ass out. And so while everybody's pushing mask, you don't hear them talking. Now, you've not heard one of these people say anything about strengthening your immune system. Nothing. They really got people believing that masks are going to protect you. But they don't even tell you that the masks have pores. They don't even tell you. So is it real? Yes, it's real. Is it what this is all about? Hell no. The primary thing is a global reset of life as we know it. And if you're not going to be able to make that adjustment, you're going to be ass out. That's just the bottom line.
So can you go further? Because how does that equate? Are you saying that they're doing this so that they can get rid of physical money, so that it can be all cryptocurrency based?
That's what
I'm just trying to get a little deeper understanding about what it is you mean when you say a global reset. Are you talking about on the financial economic structure, on the political structure? Let's go a little deeper for me.
The way that you're going to be able to go to a one world order, new world order, it all has to be systematized. So the currency structure, that's why the cryptocurrency is going to be so important, because that's going to take out having to do the exchanges. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's going to take out the dollar is worth this versus the yen. The dollar is worth this versus the pound. So to now centralize this, you need time to put this all together from a computerized standpoint. So Bitcoin laid the foundation and let it be known that this is possible, okay? And so this has been the great test case. So that's where they're about to go. And it's a transition, but eventually, if you don't have a mechanism to plug in through the computer system, or you doing some illegal activity, there's no way that you're going to be able to sustain doing the illegal activity, because they're going to track everything.
Yes.
Okay.
It-
They're gonna
it's
track.
That's where I wanted you to go.
Yeah, it's going to be an extreme example of have and have not.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could because the have-nots will not be plugged in at all.
at all.
Yeah.
And so the little, whatever your little hustles are on the side, they want to count all of these resources. And now let me give you a prime example. When I acquired this property here in Shreveport last year, I thought in the closing cost, our taxes, our parish and our city taxes was a part of the deal, right? So I'm thinking once we paid, that was a wrap. So I got a notice earlier this year, just a few weeks before they were trying to put the property up for a sale. I'm like, what the hell is this? They said, you got to pay these goddamn taxes. So it was like $1,000 and some dollars. So I rushed and put it together, right? So I said, damn, I got to do my homestead exemption. And the homestead exemption is you're exempt from paying taxes up to $75,000 of the value of the property. And so most of your properties in the Black community here in Shreveport are going to be under $75,000. So that means you ain't going to pay no taxes, at least from the parish standpoint. You'll still have to pay your city, but you won't have to pay your parish. So I needed to do this one form, okay? And I went and did the form. So Naru, I just got last week they said I owed $800 something this year in taxes because I did the form last month. And so I called in last week and they said, oh, you're going to get your revised tax form. So I just got it today. $0, Brother Naru. And they're giving me a check back from the taxes that I paid earlier this year for last year.
Beautiful.
Now, what's my point? If you don't know the system and you don't know how to operate, you're ass out. If you're illiterate, you're ass out. If you don't fill that paperwork out, and now you don't have $800 some dollars, a damn house that I'm finishing up now that's I bought it for 33. We're putting about 50 in it. It's going to be worth about 120 when we finish. A damn $120,000 asset will be going down the drain for $800 and something in goddamn tax.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how to now make it a tax-free property because on paper, the value is under $120,000. So we gotta, as grassroots people, learn the ways of navigating so that we can advance ourselves in this game. And if you're not plugged in to a governmental apparatus somewhere in the United States, I mean, how are you gonna, look, man, if we take over, like here in the city of Shreveport, the sheriff controls Homeland Security for Caddo Parish and Bossier Parish. So now we take over the apparatus of the city and the parish, we're now in control of not only city and parish structure, we're in control of a federal agency at the local level because each one of the cities and counties have a Homeland Security. Why is that important? Because you need to know when they're coming.
Yes,
and they're going to dispatch information to the various mayors, city council, parish commissioners. You see what I'm saying? But if you ain't in the know, you're going to be out the door. It's that goddamn stuff.
Which is a perfect segue into helping our people understand that you're not going to run away from white people.
Can't do it.
Because they're everywhere. What I like to say is, no matter where you go, you're going to run into his cousin, same white boy, different accent. Because they all believe in the same philosophy, system, and game of maintaining power. And if you don't understand the system, if you're not willing to learn it and utilize it, if you're not plugged in and or attached to it, you're going to be on the losing end. and that's going to be a painful loss. So our people who are trying to get some sort of status to say they are special, they obviously don't understand how the CIA operates, because they could give less than a damn about your sovereign status. They remove heads of nations all the damn time. For those of us who believe that white people are going to give us a bunch of money that they owe us, no matter how much data we have and how much we can prove it, fallacy. For those of us who believe that someone is going to come back from wherever and save us, it ain't happening. So our only solution, at least as we see it in this movement, is for us to understand how this thing is played, how it works, and use it for our best interests, and to move ourselves forward, because nothing else makes sense, and everything else has been tried.
And somebody, that point you just made about, I mean, you can see this right in your front of you.
Yeah.
They took out Muammar Gaddafi.
Yeah.
They took out Saddam Hussein. Sovereign country
with
military.
With militaries. I tell people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't even. I'm glad that you were able to articulate it, because it turned my goddamn stomach.
Yeah, and it's sad, Brother Craig, because every single time I see Grandmaster Jay and the NFAC, and all these black people who are looking to him for leadership, direction, purpose, and they really, really, really believe that this is the way to do it. And you sent me an article about somebody was assassinated. It was shot from was it a satellite? How did they kill them?
Satellite gun, goddamn.
we don't understand the complexity. Religion, war, weaponry, destruction. That's their religion.
That's their religion.
They believe in the gun, and goddamn it, they study how to make it better and better. So, the only chance we have is to understand how it works and use it, like the example you just gave. Understand how it works and use it to move ourselves forward. Otherwise, you're gonna be on the bad end of some very, very, very difficult and rough times that are right around the corner. So we most certainly got to make some things happen if this is gonna work. So does anybody else have a question for Brother Craig or comment? Anybody else? Question or comment? Going once, going twice. All right, Brother Craig, closing remarks.
I just want to thank everybody for attending today. Hopefully you got some more information. Hopefully you do your homework on the Divine Rights Teams, Manifest Destiny, Negro Exceptionalism, so that you can enhance your arsenal of information, and then work to understand and comprehend it, and then apply it so it can become knowledge. I want you guys to have an awesome Kwanzaa. Well, we will be coming to you one more time before Kwanzaa kicks off. But I want you all to have a good time and getting prepared for the new year. And 2021, get ready. Let's make some things happen so that we can make our ancestors proud.
Amen. Amen. All right. If you want more information about the Black Gold Nation movement, my email is theblackgoldnation@gmail.com. The Black Gold, GOLD Nation @gmail.com. Our website is blackgoldnation.com if you want more information about the movement. And our media website, as I said earlier, this is our 20th episode of the Revolutionary Code, and we're going into our 16th episode of our movie review, Cinematic Connections for Revolutionary Change. This coming Saturday. If you want to watch the previous 19 episodes of the Revolutionary Code or the previous 15 movie reviews, which I strongly encourage you to do, you can watch those on our website, our media website, blackgoldmedia.net. As I said initially, we're not here, Brother Craig and I, just to inform and or educate you. We're trying to get you to do something. We want to inform, educate, motivate, mobilize, organize, and build, because the philosophy, system, and game of white supremacy, of capitalistic white supremacy and racism is real. The things that we are up against are real. the controllers of this system that we have found ourselves in, that is geopolitical. It's everywhere. It's real. We're only going to win if we find the right people who want to win, and then we learn how to win by plugging into solutions and answers that are given in an organization that's putting us in a position to win. So again, as Brother Craig said, I reiterate, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to be a part of the show this evening. Please share this with 10, 15, 20 other melanated Black people, so that moving forward, we'll have not just 10 people getting the information, but we'll have 110. This is only going to work if we always make time to invite other Black people, because at the end of the day, all we have is Black people, because ain't nobody coming to save us. So with that, always remember two things. No one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely, always, always, always remember that nothing is more sacred than the liberation and salvation of Black people. Not you, not me, your family, my family, your kids, my kids. Because if Black people don't make it, then everyone who looks like us, everybody that we love, will also not make it. But if we put the group first, we put the tribe first, we put the nation first, we become race people and build a nation within this nation and other nations around the world, then we will become an unstoppable people, and we can make this thing happen the way we need to. So with that, again, thank you very much. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful evening.
Peace.
Peace.